Hey good people, welcome to Melanated Vibrations, a new show that celebrates the diversity and richness of Black culture. Join us as we delve into our individual mental health and overall mental health of our community. From the latest trends to the timeless coping mechanisms, we'll showcase the best of what it means to be mentally healthy. So sit back, relax, and get ready to feel the vibrations of Black excellence. Let's get started.
Hey guys, happy Monday. Woo! Welcome to Melanated Vibrations. It's your girl, Dom, aka the therapist, aka one half of Melanated Vibrations. Did you guys miss me? Because I missed y'all. I hope last Monday, since we did not have a show. Hey, be right back. I missed you. I have not seen you in the comments. I hope that since last week we did not have a show, that everybody spent their MLK Day going out and doing some service for the community and giving back, because we know that's what our brother MLK would have wanted. How was you guys' weekend? Did you guys get snowed in with any booze with your kids? Were you by yourself? Did you have everything that you needed? Did anybody go outside and play in the snow? I thought about it, but I'm gonna be honest. It was a little too cold for me. I ain't gonna hold you. It was a little too cold, and I don't really do so well with the cold weather. If you are on the stream, please make sure you tagging your folks in. If you are on YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the Big Exclusive Network, where all of our shows are posted and they premiere live on YouTube. And then you're going to tag your friends in. Hey, Tiff. Thank you, darling. You're going to go over to the Facebook page, to the Big Exclusive Network Facebook page, and you are going to like and follow the Facebook page. Tag your folks in. Tonight is going to be a really good session. I guess it will be a session. Excuse me. I think every time I come talk to y'all, I feel like I'm having a session with y'all, like y'all my clients, right? We are going to have a great topic tonight. We are going to talk about toxic relationships. We're going to talk about codependency and love addiction. I want to make sure that like I said, since we started, that 2024 is different than all the other years. We not doing toxic relationships. We not doing no codependency or no love addiction. We are going to go to therapy. We are going to find our person as our therapist, and we are going to make sure that we sit on somebody's couch this year and work through our stuff. We're going to make sure we hold true to our boundaries and our non-negotiables. We said what we said, and we're going to stand on it. And what the young folks saying, standing on business, that's what we're going to do. Stand on business. Hey, Aunt. Shout out to my brother, Aunt Rockmore, host of the Aunt Money Experience. It comes on Thursdays at 7, straight dust all the time. Hey, Lil. Yes, honey, I've had a great Monday. Really, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, I had a really good Monday. Work was busy per usual. Thank you. Appreciate it. Work was busy as usual. One of my case managers, it was his last day, so trying to navigate through that. This weekend was really good for me. I think the last day I had of work was Thursday. They closed all offices on Friday, and I did not leave the house until yesterday was the first time I left the house. Y'all let me know what y'all did. Cause yeah, I don't like to play outside in the elements. That's not for me. All right, so let's dive in. So I want to set my intention as I'm bringing into this space change. I'm super excited about today's episode. I'm super excited about all the episodes going forward. I was inspired by my brother Aunt Rockmore. So if you guys watch his show, like y'all should be watching his show, because what else are you doing on Thursdays at 7 p.m.? Duh. But if you are a top fan like I am, when you watch his show, he breaks his show into segments, and I absolutely love it. So Melanated Vibrations is a revamp. We have revamped the show. We're going to sprinkle some dustiness in there, but it's going to be really, really good. Shout out to my ghostwriter, if he is listening, who actually helped me come up with the segment titles. I'm super excited to see how you guys respond. So I am bringing into this space change. Hey, Creamy. Yes, long time no see. I had to go on and take a break off, okay? Straight dust, period. You know, I learned from the best. Shout out to my sister, Adairess. Yeah, Ghost Rider, big exclusive. Not too much. All right, now. Now how I feel about a thing. So I'm super excited. Shout out to my sister, Adairess, who is the other half of Melanated Vibrations. As you guys know, she is taking a sabbatical so that she can finish up her master's program. Hey, sis. Yep. Shout out to my niece, who birthday tomorrow. Yeah, giving heavy birthday vibes. Okay, my sister out here dropping the bag and some. Hey, Top Flight. Shout out to Top Flight, who is 1/3 of the big exclusive podcast that comes on Tuesdays at 7. It's really no end time. They definitely gonna be dusty. They're gonna be a little messy, but you know what to expect. We love the guys there, right? Thank you, Creamy. Okay, don't get out my business. So I'm so excited. I'm super excited. Yes, Flight, congratulations. Shout out to Top Flight. He is killing the comedy scene right now. He has a special coming to what is it, Amazon Prime, if I'm correct. So you got to deal with Amazon. I'm just listen. Okay, if y'all have not checked out his comedy special, or you have not going to see him live to perform, I encourage all of you guys to do it. Anytime he is anywhere local, make sure you guys go and support him. He be all over the world, literally all over the world. I don't know how many frequent flyer miles he got, but I'm just trying to be like him when I grow up. We don't do dusty. Y'all definitely do dust, capital D, and all the other letters be capital. Hey Quinn. So I'm super excited. Jay Boogie. Yes, babe, I gotta call you after the podcast, but I'm just super excited about all the changes. So we're gonna start with a positive affirmation today. So this is my positive affirmation. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. That is by Winston Churchill. So that is my affirmation for you guys to keep pushing. There is, what do they say? The sky is the limit. We're going past the sky. We're going past the stars. We're going past that. So just because you've topped off where you think you might want to be, continue to push forward. If you fail, dust yourself off and try again. That's what the great R.I.P. Aaliyah would say. Okay. At first you don't succeed, dust yourself off and try again. Okay. So that is my affirmation. So that's just one of the changes that is occurring on Melanated Vibrations. So this evening we are going to talk about toxic relationships. Yes, please share the stream. If you are on, you just tagged in. Do that little @ sign where y'all do y'all highlights. What is it? The highlights and y'all followers, and to bring all y'all folks in here. Going to do that now. Bring all your folks in. I'm sure we've all had a toxic relationship or two, or you know somebody in a toxic relationship or a codependent or a love addicted relationship that could benefit from this conversation. Go on and tag them in. Go on, tell them, come on, take a seat, get your wine. Y'all know how I do. Always got my wine. Okay. I just never know what the comments are going to say, so I got to come prepared. So let's start with toxic relationships. So what is a toxic relationship? The word toxic is so cliche nowadays that everything is toxic. Everything's a red flag, right? But there is some truth to some of these things. So by definition, a toxic relationship is a relationship characterized by behaviors on the part of the toxic partner that are emotionally and not infrequently physically damaging. A toxic relationship damages the self-esteem and it drains your energy. Yeah, let them tables start turning, right? Some of us are thinking like, okay, I've had a relationship or two, and it's not just intimate relationships. It truly can be relationships that you have with family members, relationships you have with friends, relationships you have at work, between your boss or your coworkers, any kind of interpersonal relationship can be a toxic relationship. A toxic relationship, on the other hand, is not a safe place. Nothing about a toxic relationship is safe. A toxic relationship is characterized by insecurity, self-centeredness, dominance, and control. We risk our very being by staying in such a relationship. To say a toxic relationship is dysfunctional is at best an understatement. Straight toxic, big T, Shannon. Now, big T. I don't believe that. Now maybe you wasn't the toxic one, but I'm sure you've had a toxic relationship or two. Now don't do that. Okay, we've all had them, right? We see the red flags, we see the signs. I've shared a personal guilty, right? Be right back. Let's be transparent, right? We've all had that. I will share a personal experience. I was dating this guy. All the red flags was there. My dumb ass was like, yes, I love Six Flags Great Adventures. Yay! And take me to the highest roller coaster. And my friends was looking like, bitch, run. Get out. Okay? Get out. Like the movie, get out. So we see those red flags, and sometimes we will ignore them, or we expect that person will change. We've had that moment, Tiff, right? Sometimes we expect that person will change. Hey, Big Ro! Shout out to Big Ro, who's back into the comedy world himself. He out here. He doing his thing with the comedy. If you have not caught him, go to his page, follow him for more updates about different things he gonna be doing, different shows he gonna be on too. These text messages that come in the middle of the show is out of control. Anyway, I'm trying to focus. The sex was toxic too, so I stayed there. Right, and so that's another thing, right? Sometimes people that are toxic got the best sex. Let's just go and put that out there. Let's just let's just go and put that out there. And so sometimes we are captivated by the physical and how we feel in the moment when we are engaged with that person sexually, that we lose our damn minds, we see all the red flags, and we choose to ignore them. In the year of 2024, we are not doing that. Okay? No problem, Big Bro. Quit, baby, quit. You gotta go. Especially when you have been doing the work yourself. You know what your boundaries are. You know, thank you, Big Bro. You know what your non-negotiables are. This is why I preach this so much to you guys. Non-negotiables are important. I'm not saying you got to have a whole list of non-negotiables, but non-negotiables in any facet or any type of relationship are important. Non-negotiables and boundaries are important. What are you willing to tolerate and what are you not willing to tolerate in any kind of interpersonal relationship? You have to start there, because if you don't know what you're willing to tolerate or what you're willing to put up with, then people will run over you. So, boundaries, people. Remember, that was the first episode we talked about. The very first episode of 2024 is boundaries. So I hope you guys are sticking to them. It is important that we are able to recognize not only the signs of a toxic relationship, but also the different types of toxic relationships. Yes, there are different types of toxic relationships. So the very first one is the belittler. Think about it. You know anybody like that? You've been in a relationship with anybody that they belittle you, give you little backhanded compliments? All right, Big Bro, don't start with the crying. Don't start, not too much, okay? But go on and cry. That's a safe space. All right, so let's talk about the first type of toxic relationship. So you have the belittler. So this type of toxic individual will constantly belittle you. He or she will make fun of you, essentially implying that pretty much anything you say that expresses your ideas, your beliefs, or wants is silly or stupid. Anybody know somebody like that? A toxic spouse or partner will not hesitate to belittle you in public, in front of your family or in front of your friends. Okay, I'm sure we all know somebody that's in this kind of relationship, or we've been here. So that's the first one. The first one is somebody that belittles you. The second one is the bad temper toxic partner. Controlling by intimidation, right? So this is a classic behavior of a toxic partner. So oftentimes these individuals have an unpredictable and a hair trigger temper. Like the slightest thing will trigger them. They get angry. Their partner often describes them as walking on eggshells. Like you're scared to say anything or do anything wrong because this person has a bad temper. So around this toxic partner, you never quite know what will send them into a rage. This constant need for vigilance, right? We always got to be aware when we deal with these kind of partners, and the inability to know what will trigger an angry outburst wears on the victim. I use that word very loosely. It wears on the victim's emotional and physical health. Now, sometimes this person can also be abusive. You can be in an abusive relationship with this person. Usually, this type of toxic relationship or this type of toxic partner is someone that is physical when they lose their temper. So, this may be someone that's been in a physical or physically abusive relationship. Now, remember, all abuse is not physical, but this type of partner may participate in physical abuse, or they may hit the wall so they don't hit you, or slam something, or it's again controlling by intimidation. What will intimidate you? What will incite fear in you is what this person will do. Then you have, this is my favorite because I'm sure we all know these people. This can be in a romantic. Yep. Think we ignore toxic red flags, especially. Exactly, Lil. That's an excellent point, right? Toxic relationships, as I said before, are not just intimate relationships. These are not just relationships that people are in intimately. These could be with your mom, your dad, your aunt, your cousin, your siblings, your co-workers. It could be with anybody. You can have a toxic relationship. And like Lil said, and like I said, you will ignore the red flags because, oh my God, it's so much fun at 6th grade adventures. Like, why not? No, it's not fun. Get out of those type of relationships because they only get worse. This person only wants to control you more and more. And again, this type of toxic partner wants to control you by intimidation, whatever it takes. If they know that you're a crier and all they got to do is raise their voice, then every time they talk to you, they're going to shout at you because it's for them a sense of power. Like they are controlling your emotions. I remember I had, he never did it to me. I think he realized that let's not play this game. But I had an employer. When I used to work at PHA, I had a boss, and his administrative assistant was a white woman. I love Joanne, right? Our boss would get off on making her cry. She cried very easily. I was like, you got to toughen up. Because if he'd have talked to me like that, baby, what I tell y'all a couple episodes ago, HR, HR me, please. Now we're all in HR. Okay. All right. And so he said it one day to like one of the other directors and was just like, yeah, I made her cry. Like he like boasted about making her cry. And I was like, what is wrong with you? He tried it one time with me. You make me cry. It's not because I'm scared. It's because the anger that has ensued in my brain and the thoughts that I have thought about. Agree, Big Bro. Anybody can be toxic. Any man or woman walking. It don't matter what their title is. You don't even realize in my head I've killed you already. So if you think I'm crying because I'm crying because I'm scared for you. That's all I got. And so he would get off on making his administrative assistant cry by raising his voice and yelling. Again, controlling by intimidation. Now we have the third person. We all know somebody like this. Again, this is my favorite one because we all know people like this. The guilt inducer. Yeah, think about it. You know somebody. So a toxic relationship can, of course, occur not only between two individuals in a committed relationship, like we've been saying, right? But also between friends and parents. Yeah, you got to fire them. You can't have that type of work environment. They spirit just, it does something different to the rest of the team. And we don't want people like that working under us, for us, with us. It'd be too much. So this can be between friends or parents and their adult children. So control in these relationships, as well as in a committed relationship, is exercised by inducing guilt in the victim. Again, I use the word victim very loosely. The guilt inducer controls by encouraging you to feel guilty anytime you do something he or she does not like. Not infrequently, they will get someone else to convey their sense of disappointment or hurt to you. So, for example, your father calls you up and tells you how disappointed your mother was that you didn't come over for Sunday dinner. Why are you speaking for her? She don't feel that type of way. But because he said your mother, now you feel guilty when really it is him trying to control the situation. So you can swap those out: mom, dad, aunt, cousin, boss, best friend, whatever. Swap those roles out. So that is an example. Now, a guilt inducer not only controls by inducing guilt, but also by temporarily removing guilt if you end up doing what he or she wants you to do. So for a guilt-prone individual, anything, or anyone that removes guilt is very desirable and potentially almost addictive. We're going to get to that when we talk about love addicts. Hey, Auntie, did you get my message on IG? So the guilt inducer has an extremely powerful means of control at their disposal. They will either make you feel guilty and then warp other people into that to make you feel even more guilty, or if you comply and do what they want you to do, then they will release that guilt from you. I'm sure we all know people like that will try to guilt you into, I just want to go out. I mean, you always do this, and now I always do this. I just don't want to go out. I'm real good for that. I'm gonna tell y'all, I'm the kind of Taurus that, baby, you cancel plans. I don't care if I was fully dressed and about to walk out the door. Do you know how fast I will turn around and go back in the house and take my stuff off and be under the covers in 2.5 seconds? Going to cancel them plans. I ain't want to come anyway. And you're not going to guilt me into doing it if I don't want to do it. I'm very stubborn. Okay, Auntie. Then you have the overprotector or the deflector. We all know someone like that. If you've ever tried to tell a significant other that you're unhappy, that you're hurt, or that you're angry about something they did, and somehow find yourself taking care of their unhappiness, of their hurt, and their anger, yeah, they're an overreactor / a deflector. We know people like that, right? We pour, we think that it's a safe space, and we try to tell them our disdain for something that they did, and somehow it's flipped back on us, and now we're the bad guy, we're the villain to their story, they're the victim, and now we're finding ourselves comforting them when it's like, wait a minute, how did we get here? You find yourself comforting them instead of getting comfort for yourself. Okay, Auntie, good. And even worse, you feel bad about yourself. I wash my dishes very well. My OCD kicks in, big bro. Don't do that. So you even feel worse. You feel bad about yourself for being so selfish, right? Because now they're playing mind games with you, that you brought up something that upset your partner so much. So here is the reverse psychology. You will bring to your partner something that bothers you or hurts your feelings or something that makes you unhappy. They will then flip it around, and you are now the villain in this story. They are now the victim, and now you're comforting them, and you're never getting what it is that you need for yourself. And with that, you start to feel even worse. You start to feel bad. You start to feel selfish. How dare me tell you how I feel about what you've been doing? How selfish of me, and not take your feelings into consideration. These are the mind games that they will play. And so now your partner is upset because they're deflecting on you. We all love those kind of people. Your kids don't care if you're in the middle of a podcast. They just want what they want all the time. And so, needless to say, your initial concern of hurt or irritation gets lost as you remorsefully take care of your partner's feelings. So now you're taking care of feelings that you didn't even know were there. Unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable. So those are what we call the overreactor or the deflector. Where now, again, you're the villain, they're the victim. We all know people like that in intimate relationships, in friendships, even with some of our family members, where they never want to take accountability. Even when you try to present in a respectful way, like, hey, this is how you made me feel about a thing, somehow they are hurt and upset, and now you are apologizing, and you never get what it is that you need from that person. You have number 5. Yeah, Tiff. Yeah, I was triggered when I was writing this down too, because I know I didn't had a couple of those friendships that ended for stuff like that. Child, we're gonna have some wine over that. Then you have the overdependent partner. Now, the overdependent partner, right? As odd as it may seem, one method of toxic control is for your partner to be so passive that you have to make most decisions for them. Now, for people that have control issues, you're like, well, duh. Of course I want to make all the decisions. Of course I want to reverse psychology, checkmate. This is what they're doing. So this is a way for them to control you, and it is very toxic. They will act passive and helpless, okay? So these toxic controllers want you to make virtually every decision for them, from where to go to dinner, to what car to buy. Remember, not deciding is a decision. Don't let that go over your head. Let me say it again. Not deciding is a decision. You've made a decision to not decide. So when you make a decision to not decide, and that is your decision, it has an advantage of making someone else, you, responsible for the outcome of that decision. You see how they did that there? Right. You wouldn't think that being over dependent is a toxic trait, but it is. Because if they are passive and they never make a decision, they make a decision to not make a decision, and they leave you in charge, whatever outcome comes out of it, mainly if it's bad, then it's your fault. Then they can point the finger at you, and you are now the blame. Of course, if it's a good decision, then they'll take the credit for it. We know some folks at work like that. Ooh, I just got mad just for a second. I'll dust that right on off. So, and of course, right, you'll know when you've made the wrong decision by your partner's passive aggressive behavior, right? Such as pouting or not talking to you because you chose a movie or a restaurant that they didn't enjoy. But let's go back to the beginning. They made a decision to not decide and allowed you. They took the role of being passive. I hate a passive person. I think y'all know that by now. I'm way too aggressive for that. So they come off as passive. They decide to not make a decision. They allow you to make a decision. And if it's the wrong decision, they then become passive aggressive. So again, they don't speak to you. They're pouting, and they are making you feel bad. They are inducing guilt on you. Right. Or you choose to go spend the weekend with your parents, and your partner goes along but doesn't speak to anyone for 2 days. So because you made a decision that they didn't like, somehow you're punished for that, where now you're at your parents' house, but they don't want to come out the room. They don't want to engage in family dinners. They just want to act like an a-hole. When someone is passive, it can be an extremely powerful means of control. If you're involved in a relationship with a passive controller, I know, right? How those two opposites go together. You can be a passive controller. I already told you how. Hey, Q, happy Monday. Shout out to Q. I was scrolling on IG and on Facebook. She just dropped something. If you guys are not following her, please go follow her. She put little clips and stuff of scenes she's in. Listen, listen, baby. I'm here for all of y'all out here doing y'all thing. It's the Black excellence for me. Okay. Love that for y'all. Okay. Shout out to everybody that's out here doing anything with the acting and the comedy and networks and being presidents of stuff and podcasts. And it's a good year to join the team. That's all I'm saying. Okay. That's all I'm saying. It's a good year to start something new, fresh, be an entrepreneur. Take those chances, step out on faith, and see what God has for you. So shout out to everybody that's in the comments that's doing something. I am so from the bottom of my heart proud of you. Melanated Vibrations sends you love. Y'all killing it. I love y'all. Yes, Kiki the series on her page, period. Don't play with everything Q. Go follow her. So if you're involved in a relationship, right, where you have a passive controller, you'll likely experience constant anxiety and or fatigue as you worry about the effects of your decision on your partner, and you are drained by having to make virtually every decision. That is a way that someone can be in a toxic relationship. Number 6, the independent, non-dependable toxic controller. That's a tongue tire. Try to say that 3 times fast. So this individual frequently disguises his or her toxic controlling behavior as simply exerting his or herself as independent. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to let anyone control me. They may say stuff like that. That may be their motto. That may be how they live their life. This toxic individual will only rarely keep his or her commitments. So they may say they're going to do something and then they don't come through and do it. We all know somebody like that. Actually, what these individuals are up to is controlling you by keeping you uncertain about what they're going to do. Non-dependables will say they'll call you or they'll take the kids to the movies on Saturday, but then they don't. They never show up. Something always comes up with this type of toxic person. They usually have a plausible excuse, but they simply don't keep their commitments. In this type of relationship, the toxic means they control you by making it next to impossible for you to make commitments or plans. So you will clear your schedule. You will clear your day to do this with that person because they said they're going to do this. They're going to show up here. They're going to come get the kids. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And they never do it. And then they just don't show up. And then they say something came up. They never really take accountability. And now you've canceled all of the plans or you didn't get done what it is that you wanted to get done because you already felt committed to this type of toxic controller. They are called the independent, non-dependable toxic controller. Number 7, the user. Ooh, child, we all know somebody like that. Mm-hmm. So what defines a toxic relationship with a user is its one-way nature and the fact that you will end up never having done enough for them. Mm-hmm. Come on, ladies. Mm-hmm. Gentlemen, we know somebody like this. So the user, especially at the beginning of a relationship, often seems to be very nice, very courteous, and a pleasant individual. And they are, as long as they're getting everything they want from you. Duh. As long as they get what they need and what they want, they will be pleasant, they will be nice, they'll be courteous. So what defines a toxic relationship with a user is the one-way nature and the fact that you will end up never having done enough for them. Users are big-time energy drainers who will, in fact, leave you if they find someone else who will do more for them. We all know a leech when we see a leech. Mm-hmm. Number 8, the last one. The possessive / paranoid toxic controller. Now, this type of controller, this type of toxic individual is really bad news, right? So early in your relationship with them, you may actually appreciate their jealousy, right? My man, he's so jealous. He don't be liking when I be having all them friends and stuff, right? Oh, my girl, she don't play that. Like, she don't play about me. She's crazy. He's crazy. Get away. Big red flag, right? So in the beginning, we think it's cute. We appreciate the jealous type. If it doesn't seem like it's too controlling, right? And most times, right? But certainly not all. Possessive will imply that one or two of you are married or in a committed relationship, that it'll be just fine, right? Don't believe it for a moment. Don't believe the hype. Okay. This toxic individual will become more and more suspicious. Baby, giving big narcissist, big manipulator. Okay. Big, yeah. These toxic individuals will become more and more suspicious and controlling as time goes on. They'll check the odometer in your car, right? To make sure you haven't gone somewhere you shouldn't have gone. Like, we're not all adults and grown to do what we want to do. Or they'll interrogate you if you have to stay late at work. Well, who all was there? Or you was with your work husband, you was with your work wife. Just out of control stuff. They will, in short, make your life miserable. They may even use technology to, it's definitely easy to overlook this. Right. Sometimes we overlook that because we just like, oh, they just like me. Hey, Brandy. They just like, oh, this person just really love me. They really deal with me. Like, a little jealousy ain't never hurt nobody. When they start checking the odometer in your car, okay? Going through your phone, checking your social media, questioning you. Now you feel like you're in interrogation because you decided to stay late because you got a big project coming up. People confuse that with being overtaken. Agree, Q. Definitely an insecurity. Ain't nothing cute about that. So they may even use technology to their advantage using smart devices to check on your physical location, or doorbell cameras to eavesdrop, or verify you actually arrived at home when you say you would get home. Over time, they will work hard to eliminate any meaningful relationships you have with friends and sometimes even with your family. They do not see themselves in a relationship with you. They see themselves as possessing you. A great example that popped in my head as I was reading this is the movie Enough. If you've never seen the movie Enough with Jennifer Lopez, he love bombed the hell out of Jennifer Lopez, okay? And then he damn sure gaslighted her in that movie. Definitely had narcissistic tendencies. And he was very controlling. He removed her from her friends and family so he could have her all to himself. He possessed her. He would not allow her to leave. Okay? He rather kill her, unalive her. I know how y'all be out here trying to cancel folks. He would have rather unalived her, okay, than allow her to leave and just go be a mom and raise her kid without him. Okay. So you have a lot of people out here that are the possessive / paranoid toxic controller. Ain't nothing cute about somebody being insecure or jealous about your whereabouts, you being interrogated, somebody checking the miles on your car, you filled your tank up on this day, you should still have, like, if you are in that type of relationship, run for the hills. That kind of relationship is a no-go. When he got that crib or how that was it. And that's it. That was the biggest red flag for me. Went up to that man's door and asked him how much his house was, and that man said it's not for sale. And then he began to threaten the man, and then gave him a number and told him that if he did not leave out of that house, he basically would make his life a living hell. If you are in that type of relationship, please get out. There is a lot of resources in the city of Philadelphia. If you're in the city of Philadelphia, I know one of them is Women Against Abuse. One is called WAR, WOAR. It's downtown. Run for the hills, man or woman, okay? Because women do this too, right? Women can get in a space where they become very possessive, very paranoid, very controlling, where they want to check your IG, check your TikTok, check your snaps, check all your social media, checking your stories to see how much you didn't post, right? And that's it, baby. A flag is a flag, okay? I don't care if it's red, like you said, pink, white, green, purple. A flag is a flag. Brandy, why I can't take you serious? I don't know if it's a $40 relationship. All I'm saying is that it is not a safe relationship, and it only gets worse. And unfortunately, these type of relationships, when they're passive or possessive and paranoid, they can and 9 times out of 10 will become abusive. If it's not physical, it will be verbal, it will be psychological, it will be financial, it will be spiritual, it will be some form of abuse if you continue to tolerate it and stay in there. So I want to show you guys a quick video about toxic relationships.
A toxic relationship is one in which two people don't relate to each other in healthy ways, and then conflict easily arises. In these relationships, at least one person tries to minimize the other person's perspective or feelings and increase their own competitive nature. There's usually just a general lack of support, unpleasantness, usually just doesn't feel good. The negative emotions will eventually outweigh the positive ones, and then the relationship will become very draining. Here are the 10 signs of a potentially toxic relationship. First, you feel disrespected. Number 2, your needs are not met. You both have a hard time communicating. You don't feel free to live your life autonomously or independently. You give more than you get. You don't feel valued. You resent your partner. One or both of you are passive aggressive. Your self-esteem is deteriorating, and you feel attacked or unsupported.
10 signs of being in a toxic relationship. Exactly. And that's it, Lil. Like, if I ever feel like I gotta go behind you and do all that checking, I'd rather just leave. Like, it's no sense of putting all that energy into somebody. Or, again, we're not just talking about red flags. Find your non-negotiables in any type of interpersonal relationship you have, because that will kind of help to avoid, again, what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. There's a difference between, like, your partner caring about making sure you get somewhere safe and versus, like, Who you going with? Who all gonna be there? What time you gonna get in the house? We not fostering them type of relationships in 2024, y'all. Okay. So to continue with toxic relationships, let's talk about codependency because they kind of go hand in hand. So there is this really, I do not have the book with me, but you can go on Amazon and find it. One of my favorite authors, Pia Melody, she has a book called Facing Codependency. And she also has a book called Facing Love Addiction. Two great books that I recommend, whether you're in a relationship, whether you're dating, married, single, two great books to read. It talks about what is codependency and what does it look like. The Facing Love Addiction book talks about being a love addict or a love avoidant. It's a really, really, really great book. In there, it teaches you what a love addict is and what a love avoidant is. So two really good books. Again, Pia Melody. She's a really good author. I bought my book years ago. It was like $13 for each book. I actually ran a group at this old private practice that I worked at that was for codependency. And that was the book that we chose to kind of get all of our information out of. It's a really good book. Again, whether you're single, dating, married, figuring it out, Facing Codependency and Facing Love Addiction by Pia, P-I-A, Melody. She is an amazing author. Go find it. So what does codependency look like, right? So Pia Melody is the author of Facing Codependency. She defines codependency as a series of symptoms that indicate an intense focus on controlling relationships and the lack of awareness of the self. So both of which have likely been perpetuated by abusive situations in the past. These symptoms include difficulties with experiencing appropriate levels of self-esteem, setting functional boundaries, owning and expressing their own reality, taking care of their adult needs and wants, and experiencing and expressing their reality moderately. So there is much more to the term, right, than everyday clinginess. So you think codependency, you may think like, oh, this person's just super codependent. Here's the difference. So codependent relationships are far more extreme than just the typical clinginess, right? A person who is codependent will plan their entire life around pleasing the other person or their enabler. The codependent's self-esteem, so if you're the codependent person, your self-esteem and self-worth will come only from sacrificing themselves for yourself for your partner, who is only too glad to receive the sacrifices. So you are dealing with someone who sees you losing yourself just to make them happy, and your self-worth and self-esteem depends on how you sacrifice yourself and them receiving it. A codependent person feels worthless, right? Unless they are needed by and making drastic sacrifices for their enabler. Again, codependent relationships are not just intimate relationships. So I want to make that very clear. Any of the relationships I'm talking about are not just intimate relationships. You can be codependent on a friend. You can have that. Anybody got like a needy friend that just always kind of needs you for everything, and they can't really make decisions, and they just, unless you stamp it, your stamp of approval, they have no self-worth. They have no sense of like, hey, you're making the right decision. This is a great decision. Go for it. If you love it, I love it for you. This is not just intimate relationships, but you do find it mostly in intimate relationships. So the enabler gets satisfaction from getting their every needs met by the other person. So again, this person is now losing themselves to make sure that the needs of their enabler receives everything that they need to receive. The codependent is only happy when making extreme sacrifices for their partner. They feel they must be, needed by the other person to have any purpose. So their whole life purpose is what this other person needs. Codependent has no personal identity. They have no interests or value outside of their codependent relationship. Again, this person has lost themselves. One person feels that their desires, a codependent person feels that their desires and needs are unimportant and will not express them. They may have difficulty recognizing their own feelings or needs at all. One or both parties can be codependent. So you can be in a relationship where two people are codependent or just one person's codependent. A codependent person will neglect other important areas in their life to please their partner. Their extreme dedication to this one person may cause damage to other relationships they have, to their career, and their everyday responsibilities because they're so focused on the enabler, whoever this person may be, that they lack attention to anything else or anybody else in their life. The enabler's role, how do you set boundaries without damaging the relationship? So I would say, again, what's your non-negotiables? Unfortunately, some relationships are going to be damaged, right? People don't like boundaries. People don't like when you draw the line in the sand. That's the analogy I use with you guys. When you draw that line in the sand and you say, hey, these are my boundaries. This is what I'm willing to accept. This is what I'm willing not to accept. This is how I want to be talked to. This is how I want to be loved, so forth and so on. You're going to lose some relationships because of that. Everyone's not going to respect that you want to draw the line in the sand. So it's up to you to determine how important is this relationship to you. Is it a relationship that you are willing to lose if you draw that line in the sand? If it is, go for it. So be it. I say you have a conversation. I didn't see the last comment. I'm sorry. I had my head turned for a second. What did it say? Oh dear, bro. We're going to talk after the show. I think that when you are, people definitely don't like that. They don't like the line in the sand. They hate it. They like, how dare you tell me I can't talk and do this to you? Respect you. Exactly. Perfect, Q. People that respect you, people that love you, people that cherish your friendship, your relationship will respect your boundaries. But I think that if you are making a decision to have boundaries with somebody, then you need to have a conversation with that person. Hey, these are a couple things that I noticed between our relationship. I'm bringing them to your attention because I really value, I really care, I really, like this dynamic that we have. And I want to see if we can set some healthy boundaries so that we can continue this relationship, this partnership, whatever it is. Again, like Q said, if the person respects you and they love you, they care about you, they're going to respect that. But if they become defensive, and now, again, you're the villain, because we're always the villain, right? When we draw that line in the sand. If you are now the villain and they're the victim and they're not receptive to it, you can do one or two things. You can give them a couple days to kind of have their moment and to think about it, or I'm good for cutting people off, so don't listen to me on this one. But, give them their couple days, or you said what you said, stand 10 toes down, as the young folks say. But I think at any time you want to set boundaries with any type of relationship in your life, it is good to have a conversation so both parties are on the same page and both parties are, because that other person might feel the same way. They might want to set boundaries too, and they just didn't know how to do it. They didn't know how to bring the conversation up. So now you need to have a conversation, and you can even give each other that day or two to process what has been said. Like a person that decides to draw the line in the sand, to the person that's receiving it, you don't force them to make a decision right then and there. Are you going to respect my boundaries? And I said what I said. No. We're not doing that, right? We have to give everyone a chance to process what it is that we are saying to them. Hey, I know I said a lot. You said a lot. I don't want to make you feel that what you said was invalid. I don't want you to feel like your feelings weren't valid. So what I think we should do is take a day or two to kind of really process what each other said. I want to process what you said properly. I want to sit with it. I want you to sit with what I said and process it. And we can talk about this in a couple days. Don't force a person to make a decision right then and there, because I'm a Taurus, right? I'm a bull. You force me to make a decision right then and there, and I'm not in the mood to make a decision, baby. I'm going to shut down. Conversation is over. Ain't no 2 days, 3 days. We're not talking about it no more. Conversation is over. And now I'm going to make a decision that I don't want to make. So I think it's important that when you are asking or expecting someone to do something that's never been required of them, like boundaries, that you sit down, you have a really open, candid conversation. You use your words effectively. You express how you feel. Go and pull out your feelings, Will. You use your words. You tell them how you feel. Good, bad is not feelings. You tell them you feel frustrated or overwhelmed or anxious or excited or whatever your feelings words are. And it can be more than one. You have that conversation, tell them how you feel, allow them the space to tell you how they feel, because they're going to rebuttal. They're going to want to respond back. And you can't be like, no, I just wanted to say what I wanted to say. I ain't trying to hear none of what you're talking about. That's not how conversations work. And that's not how healthy conversations work. So you guys exchange, you have your conversation, you give it a couple days for each person to process, and then you come back to the drawing board and see what each person comes up with. That would be my best suggestion, because I don't give advice, because y'all gonna do what y'all want to do. So Symptoms of codependency. So what does codependency look like in the symptoms? So it can be hard to distinguish between a person who is codependent and one who is just clingy, right? And they're just so enmeshed with the other person. But a person who is codependent will usually find no satisfaction or happiness in life outside of doing things for the other person. They will stay in the relationship even if they are aware that their partner does hurtful things. They do anything to please and satisfy their enabler, no matter what the expense to themselves is. They feel constant anxiety about their relationship due to their desire to always be making the other person happy. They use all their time and energy to give their partner everything they ask for. They feel guilty about thinking of themselves in the relationship and will not express any personal needs or desires. They ignore their own morals or conscience to do what the other person wants them to do. This is what codependency looks like, usually. So other people may try to talk to the codependent person about their concerns, right? So the people that's on the outside looking in, those families, those friends, whatever. But even if others suggest that the person is too dependent, a person in a codependent relationship will find it difficult to leave the relationship. The codependent person will feel extreme conflict about separating themselves from the enabler because their own identity is centered upon sacrificing themselves for the other person. So a codependent person, no matter how much you try to talk to them and tell them, like, you're more than this, you need to leave, they don't appreciate you, they're cheating, they're doing this, they're hitting you, they're whatever. No matter how much you from the outside try to talk to this type of person or a person that is a codependent person, they're not going to hear you. They're literally, their whole entire existence is inside this person. They have no self-worth. They have no self-esteem. They do not know who they are. So you're telling me to get rid of the only thing that I know. You're telling me to get rid of who I have become in this person. Those are the type of responses you may get. So I want to show you guys a video about codependency.
Have you wondered if you're codependent, but you're like, I don't really think I am? I'm going to share with you a few things, a few signs that may mean that you struggle with codependency. You may be codependent if their mood determines your mood. Maybe they haven't texted you back in a couple hours and now you're anxious and cannot stop thinking about them. You try to control their emotions. You may think you're doing it harmlessly, but you will withhold the truth to avoid conflict at any cost. You need a lot of reassurance. Yeah. You want to do everything with them and be with them all the time, even if it's at the expense of your sanity, your mental health, your joy. I'm a trauma-informed relationship coach, so if any of those resonated with you, make sure you follow for more.
That is what a codependent person looks like. So now we have the other side of codependent. We have what is called the love addict. Now, so what does a love addict look like, right? Not sure if you guys have heard the term, but again, if you haven't, shout out. You got to go to Amazon. It's on Amazon. I don't know if they have the audio yet, but it's a really old book, but it's like $13 when I bought it. Facing Codependency, Facing Love Addiction by Pia Melody. Absolutely amazing. It is a life changer. If you are in a relationship, if you are married, I strongly recommend this book for you and your partner. You buy two. You and your partner need to read this book together. It is a really, really, really good book. Again, if you're not in a relationship and you single, you out here trying to figure it out, you get back to you, you loving on you, figure out if you're a codependent, love addict, or a love avoidant. So in 1992, right, Pia Melody wrote her book that reached out to those who felt compulsively drawn into toxic or painful relationships. Love addicts, that's what they're called. So in her book, Facing Love Addiction, Melody defines love addiction as an unhealthy relationship, which involves excessive time, attention, and value given to another person. So it includes unrealistic expectations on the other person to provide unconditional love and a corresponding lack of self-care. Love addiction involves a distortion of intimacy that involves obsessive desire for closeness at the expense of a healthy relationship. So you will either be a love addict or you will be a love avoidant. Most of the time, love addicts and love avoidance pair together very well. But the love avoidant, no matter how much the love addict tries to love on that person and just give them all the time and attention and obsess over that person, eventually the love avoidant will shy away from the relationship. They may even sabotage the relationship because it may just be too much for them. So I want to show you guys a quick video about love addiction.
One of the hallmark characteristics of a love addict is they create a fantasy around love, and that blinds them to the reality of their partner. They're not present, and so they're constantly fantasizing about a super love and super feelings. They'll call themselves empaths, like they're just passionate about love. Well, it's not love that they're after. What they're after is intensity. See, neediness and insecurity is intensity. It's not love. That's why we want to like. Like is mature, like is quiet, like has space and safety.
So that is what a love addict, and all these videos you guys can find on YouTube. If you type in things like love addict, codependency, I always go for the shorts because it gives you to you very quick. Now here is the part of the show I have been waiting for. I'm about to introduce you guys to one of my new segments. Apparently I say this phrase a lot, so let's go and get into the not too much segment. So not too much, right? We ain't doing too much, right? But I want to keep it relevant. So the not too much that I want to bring into this, right? When you think about celebrity relationships, the very first person that came to mind for me with toxic relationship and codependency is Blueface and Krishan Rock. For anybody out there that does not know who these folks is, Blueface isn't a rapper. He's a rapper. He is a rapper, right? I think he's a rapper. He's a rapper. Krishan Rock, if you guys are into reality shows, she's currently on this show called Baddies. I've only seen clips. I've never actually watched the show. Krishan had a very tough upbringing, but she used to be like a track star, beautiful girl, model, all these type of things, right? And then she met Blueface, who in my opinion completely ruined her life. So if you are on social media, you're on the Shade Room, Hollywood X, any of these pages, you will see Blueface and Krishan Rock on there. Now, Blueface apparently allegedly is locked up, so we will not be seeing Blueface for quite some time, and I'm going to be quite honest with you. Sorry about getting some money. Hold on. These two, in my opinion, we need to lead them in 2023. They have one of the worst kinds of toxic relationship and codependent relationships, in my opinion. Everything about their relationship is toxic. The way he talks to her, the way she talks to him. They physically put their hands on each other. I saw this one video that I thought I was going to share, but I'm going to, like, both of them, Tiff, both of them. Too much, right? I would say abandonment plays a role in a toxic relationship. Absolutely. I think it's the fear of being by themselves. And so people will put up with whatever that person is giving them just so that person can stay in their life. I think that when people have abandonment issues, they're always constantly going through life trying to find whatever it is, that hole, that void that they were missing in life. So they literally are willing to put up with absolutely anything so that person does not go. They will be in a physically abusive relationship. Toxic as hell, Q. Toxic as hell. I don't know who raising these kids. They selves, clearly. They don't got the same kind of old heads we had. But someone in a physically abusive relationship, if they have abandonment issues, they will blame themselves for the reason that they are physically getting abused. They will take on the blame themselves. Like, I deserve that. I had burnt his food. I shouldn't have said that. He told me to be home by, and I wasn't. And it works for women and men. Like, men can be in physically abusive relationships. I know some men will never admit it, but there are women out here that think they are Floyd Money Mayweather and will put their hands on men. I'm going to leave my comments to myself because, again, I know how y'all like to cancel folks. So I'm not going to say what I was going to say, but if a woman thinks that she is strong enough to put her hands on a man, y'all know the rest. That's all I'm going to say. And so I think abandonment issues plays a huge part. I think people that have daddy issues, women that have daddy issues, Men that have mommy issues plays a huge part in toxic relationships and in some form of codependency and love addiction, because you're always constantly chasing. Think about an addict, right? Addicts are always chasing that first high, whatever that is, whatever that drug of choice was for them. They're always constantly chasing that first high. They always want to figure out what it is, right? That will get them back to that original high. Love addicts are the same thing. They want to go back to that beginning stage of when things was just glitz and glamours, rainbows and sunshines and unicorns, right? No, absolutely. He's a horrible human being. And I think a lot of times with Krishan and Blueface is that Blueface is controlling, right? So we talk about these toxic relationships. I gave y'all 8 of them. Y'all could pick all 8 if y'all choose to. He is a toxic person. I think because Krishan hasn't had the best upbringing and love wasn't shown to her and she wasn't protected the way she should have been, she finds someone like Blueface who literally dangles it over her head. To me, they are the pure example of a toxic relationship and a very codependent relationship. And I don't like it for her. I'm going to be honest. I don't. I feel so bad for baby girl. I feel like somebody needs to just go on and hold on to her, right? Just go ahead and hold on to her and wrap them in her arms and tell them that they love her. So he needs to stay in jail. He absolutely does need to stay in jail. So if you guys are familiar with Blueface and Krishan, for me, I feel like they be doing too much and I really just want to tell them not too much. So go on and drop the video, producer.
It's all gonna work for her, even if we go viral for the weirdest. She's the woman. I'ma look back, regardless. She can slap the fuck out of me right now. I'ma look back, right? You gonna laugh at me? If I hit her back, you gonna not laugh at me and like be weird, right?
Right.
But it's gonna go viral for her regardless.
Not too much, Blueface, and not too much, Krishan. Hey, Dante, no worries. I'm glad that you decided to show up. Thank you so much. Not too much, Blueface, okay? But he's absolutely right. In the world and the society we live in, when she hits him, women don't really say anything. But the moment he puts his hands on her, it's whoa. They be doing too much for me. It was absolutely disgusting. Y'all should have seen the other clip that I chose. I was started to choose, but I felt very triggered by it. So I said I will not play that show. But I feel like not too much. Them together, they be doing too much. And I don't like that for them. I really don't like that for them. And so they are our toxic and codependent relationship for the week to kind of tie it in. They do too much and I absolutely hate it. Right. Exactly. And people praise Blueface and Krishan's relationship because it's like sometimes they're lovey-dovey on each other and then sometimes they're fighting and he done knocked a tooth out and tell her to put a tooth back in, and for some reason she can just not shake that man and she cannot get away from him, and vice versa. He can't seem to get away from her no matter how many bees he calls her, how many times he hits her and drags her. They be doing too much. I don't like that for them. Now I have a part of the segment, and this is how we're going to end the show. So let me say thank you guys for joining Melanated Vibrations each and every Monday at 7 p.m. I appreciate you guys. It's good to be back. I want you guys to make sure y'all tune in for the rest of the week, though. Like, don't just stop here. We got the Big Exclusive podcast comes on Tuesdays at 7 p.m. with Big Exclusive, Angry OG, and Top Flight. They may have a special guest on. No problem, Auntie. They may have a special guest. It's going to be straight dust. Thank you, Tiff. You just never know which way it's going to go. Soul ties is a real thing. Absolutely. You never know which way the show is going to go. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow to the Big Exclusive podcast. Then you're going to jump on over to Thursdays to the Ant Money Experience with my bro, Ant Rockmore, where you know for sure it's going to be Dusty. He definitely going to have the wine. He definitely going to put that bandana on. And he gonna choose violence. This is things we do know. Make sure y'all tune in on Thursday at 7 p.m. So I want to end the show on a positive note. I know we talked a lot about toxic relationships, codependency, love addiction, Blueface and Krishan Rock, and how they are a mixture of everything we talked about, how they be doing way too much. But I want to talk about something positive. I want to end the show on a positive note. So this part of the show, this segment is called I Like That For You. So with this segment, this happened a couple years ago with a gentleman named, thank you, Lil. Started with a guy named Kevin Ford. Not sure if you guys are familiar, but there was a viral video that went around. Kevin Ford worked at Burger King. He was a Burger King veteran who went viral for never missing a day of work for 27 years. Now, if y'all saw the video that I saw, his job gave him some bullshit. They gave him some lifesavers, a pack of Reese's, some pens, right? These jobs be jobbing. You give them your all, never miss a day, always on time, always punctual, and they give you a bag of goodies. That man should have had some stock in Burger King. So his story went viral. Now, let me just tell you a little bit about what happened. So he never missed a day of work in 27 years, and he inspired folks from all over the world to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars to him. I think they said that he donated over $450,000. Definitely a smack in the face, right? Give you a job, everything. And with that, he bought a house with some of those funds. So on December 29th, I think this is 2022, Ford posted a video update on TikTok and Instagram with details about the house he just closed on in Western Nevada. Ford's life was forever changed when in June 2022, a viral video shows him receiving a gift from management for his dedication to his job at Burger King after not missing a shift in 27 years. The gift from HMS Host, that's the company from which Burger King hires, included a Starbucks reusable tumbler, a bag of Reese's candy, pens, and 2 rolls of Lifesavers and another item. Ford, who expressed his gratitude, right, in the video he originally posted on Instagram, garnered quite the response online, with many feeling he deserved more. So his daughter, Serena, started a GoFundMe in his honor, and it raised nearly $450,000 to date. And even after he bought his house, the GoFundMe was still going. Ford says he used a sizable chunk of the donation to buy the house. He says, I want to thank everyone all around the world for what you've done for me, something I never thought would be possible for me, home ownership. Ford says in the video, now my kids and grandkids have some place to come visit. Ford concludes his video by showing viewers through his outdoor deck, kitchen, and living room, complete with a note to his visit to the Today Show, where he reunites with his daughter and grandkids after 4 years. I want to show you guys this video. I want to end on a positive note. Again, thank you for joining Melanated Vibrations each and every Monday. If you're just logging on, you missed the stream, make sure you go back and watch. Tag your folks in. Join us tomorrow. I'll be in the comments at the Big Exclusive podcast with Big Exclusive, Angry OG, Top Flight. Jump on over to Thursday to the Ant Money Experience with my brother at 7 p.m. I'll be in the comments. And then I'll see you guys next Monday. Shout out to Kevin Ford.
What's up, everybody? It's me, Kevin Ford. Kill Kev, Kevin, 27 years. Try to make this fast, but I know everybody's out Christmas shopping. You're in the spirit of the season, spirit of giving and everything. And I'm trying to get through without crying. But I wanted to show you something you made possible. You, beautiful you. Did for me, just a hard-working guy. Now, I know it needs some work. Cut off the haters already. I know it's not a mansion, but it's mine. I want to thank everyone all around the world for what you've done for me. Something I never thought would be possible for me. Home ownership. There's a kitchen, masters over there, a couple bedrooms over there. Now, my kids and my grandkids have some place to come visit me to. And I just want to thank everybody for being a part of this miracle. And for everything you've done for me and you continue to do for me every day. This is truly an American dream. It's a Christmas miracle. I don't have any furniture. Thank goodness people left this couch, but I do have the only furniture that's important. That's right, TMZ, The Today Show, and my brother forever, David Spade. All right, I want to thank you. I want to say God bless you, and remember, Love yourself because I love you. God bless you. Thank you. Happy holidays, y'all. Kevin Ford.